Have you ever thanked God for duct tape? I mean, duct tape has to be one of the greatest inventions of all time. I mean, it can fix almost anything. Are you having a problem while taking care of your kids? Then use duct tape. Have you got a flat tire? Duct tape's the answer. Or maybe you're having a problem with a telephone pole that just won't stay together. Then you can use duct tape. Okay, so maybe it's not great in all circumstances. And a matter of fact, those pictures you just saw, don't try any of those at home. But duct tape is a great tool when it comes to patching up some stuff. But why did I want to bring up duct tape for this devotion today? It's because I want you to know that God does not use duct tape. God is not in the business of taking your life and just patching it up and making it better. No, He is in the business of taking things that are broken and making them new. And it all starts with our salvation. You see, 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 17 says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old is gone and the new is here." Or as the book of Romans tells us in chapter 6 and verse 4, and we look at this as a representation of baptism. It says this, "We were therefore buried with him through baptism into death, in order that just as Christ was raised from the dead through the glory of the Father, that we too may live a new life." See, that shows us that it is not a better version of us that is allowed to have a restored relationship with God and a future in heaven for all eternity. No, we must be made new in order to obtain salvation that only comes through Jesus Christ. But I would venture to say that many of you watching already know this. You know about God making us new. But do you realize that when God makes us brand new, that He makes all of us brand new? He doesn't just patch up parts of us that keep giving us trouble or causing sin in our lives. No, it's a continuous act. Romans 12 and verse 1 and 2 says this, "Dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your body to God because of all He has done for you. Let them be living and holy sacrifices, the kind that He will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship Him. Don't copy the behaviors and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. And then when you learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect, if you're like me, then I know that you've experienced all sorts of emotions, new emotions during this quarantine. It can be frustration, fear, aggravation, sadness, anxiety. The list goes on and on. And it can also be an ongoing battle as we struggle with these. Most of us, how we deal with that is we just slap a little duct tape on those feelings and hope they get better or at least hold up until this quarantine's over. But what if we handed these over to God? What if we presented all of us as a living sacrifice to God and let Him change the way we think? In the 34th Psalm, King David is writing a song in a very, very uncertain time in his life. Saul was trying to kill him, and he had just had to pretend to be insane in order to escape from Abimelech, and he was now hiding in a cave. Listen to what it says in verse 4 and 5. "I prayed to the Lord, and He answered me. He freed me from all of my fears. And those who look to Him for help will be radiant with joy. No shadow of shame will darken their face." Fear turned into joy, radiant joy. See, God is not in the business of just making temporary fixes. God makes all things new. Have you tried giving Him your frustration? Let Him turn that into some creativity. Are you tired of being worried? Then give it to Him and watch Him turn it into joy. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Give it to God and watch Him use it in your life and turn it into something brand new and beautiful. Yes, duct tape is great, but man, God is greater. And through God, all things are possible.